Alright, what's up everybody, the VC here, coming at you with another video about anything and everything. As always, I'm off the cuff because that's what you guys like. You guys like this sort of thing. We don't get enough of this, so anyhow, I just like to share what's going on and my thoughts about it. And I'm wondering if those are your thoughts too. Alright. But before anything, subscribe and hit the bell icon for my channels, whether it's here on YouTube or on Rumble. Alright, whatever is more convenient for you. I originally started YouTube, but then people have asked me, hey, go to Rumble. And I said, alright, I'll just do both. So that's where I'm at with it. And at least at Rumble, I'm not censored, alright, for sharing things, alright? Fair use, alright, it's fair use. But anything, if anything, let's get to it here. So there's a lot of things to talk about, man, that's in the headlines right now. But I'm going to focus on the presidential address of Donald Trump and, kind of just go over what was talked about, right? So, I'm not going to go and play the full thing. This is like, hour and 40 minutes, 2 hours, where, he's addressing the joint address to Congress. All right. So it's supposed to be, well, at least they're in the same room, right? Democrats and Republicans. Doesn't mean that, they're united, because obviously Democrats are rubes, right? And so that's what we have going on here. And rather than play the full 2 hours or try to dig for pieces of it, I'm going to look for the highlights of that. And I thought a good way to start would be the address in 5 minutes right here. So let's share this one here, courtesy of NDTV Profit.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Let's see what we got going on here. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was so busy yesterday. So I thought this was a good way to go about it.
Countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea, but that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was, and so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day.
It's a good one. I like it.
That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in.
Ooh.
And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will
double this
tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, received an important.
Interesting. So, for example, Canada recently said that, well, if you're going to tariff us 25%, then we're going to tariff you guys 25%. So he's going to reciprocal that and put another 25% on top of that. This is some pretty crazy stuff. I don't know. It's crazy. All right, so we'll see if that'll hold up. All right.
Important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. The next phase of our plan to...
You know, that's funny because I like that, actually. I mean, what's funny is, yeah, no tax on Social Security. Why would that be taxed? You know what I'm saying? Like, you are not working, and usually Social Security payouts are not huge. And so why would they tax that, right? Because you kind of built up this savings, you know. Well, you're paying down the road, right? That in the end of the road, you'll expect something to be there for you. And I don't know. I don't see why you tax that. I don't get that. It's like, you know, when you cash out your IRA accounts or 401k, you know, at retirement age, right? They want you to wait till you're in your 60s or 70s to cash that out. Because if you cash out early, you got to pay the penalties of the taxation of it. But if you wait it out, you don't, right? And I don't know. Like, this whole taxing stuff of everything just sucks. And then, like, no taxes on tips and what you call that, overtime. I like the fact that, come on, when you think about it, taxing on tips, like, tips are usually not huge, but to tax that too, right? Why would you want to tax tips? You know, like, that's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I didn't even know you report that. You know what I'm saying? If it's, I don't know. And then lastly, on no tax on overtime, places like where I work at, they love overtime. You know how much more they'll love overtime if there's no tax on OT? Oh man, they'll be all over it.
Deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there, they're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
I'm going to have to research Greenland because, like, I don't know. He's the only one that's ever spoken about trying to acquire Greenland. Let me look up. It must be a strategic location because, let me see here what it's looking like on the map. Because, like, it got to be a strategic spot or something. Let me see. What's a good one here? Okay, I see. It's a, yeah, it is definitely a strategic area. Let me pull it up, a bigger image. Damn it. All right, let me see here. Trying to see if I can make this thing bigger, but let me see here. Yeah. I just want to see what it looks like strategically here. Alright, so it's up in this area. And I can see how, well, if you look at it on a world, let me look at, man, this Adobe one is the best image of it so far. Alright, so here's the, I guess, the view from the North Pole. Alright, so you have United States in this gray area, Canada's here, Greenland, Denmark here, and then Russia's on the other side here. So yeah, it definitely has to be a strategic location, and interesting that it is. That's the only reason why I would think he's seeking Greenland is strategically to protect from the north. Yeah, national security and resources, and then I guess the resources that are there. I don't even know what's in Greenland. So why does Trump want Greenland? Prevent expansion by China and Russia. There you go. See, yeah. So it has to be, like I said, a strategic location. Very interesting way to look at it. Even though you have Canada, that's right there too, but parts of the eastern United States. Yeah, very fascinating. And the natural resources they have is rich in minerals and oil. Okay, very interesting. So he's not the first president to eye Greenland because, I don't know, that's the only one I've ever heard. But it says here they've been worried about it for a very long time. Truman offered 100 million in gold bullion for the world's largest island after World War II. Interesting. Greenland is a territory of Denmark since the 1830s, although there's a movement to establish its independence. It's a territory of Denmark. Greenland has its own legislature, 31 seats. Okay, so they have their own sort of functioning government body. And for the U.S. to buy Greenland, it would have to be approved by Denmark. Very interesting. All right, so we know what Greenland. All right, so I didn't know the fascination of it, but I guess I could see its strategic location because of the where it's at here. It's kind of like how Alaska is part of the U.S. here, and it kind of is the protector of Russia in that sense. And then of course you have Canada. Then you have eastern United States that's kind of somewhat vulnerable, but I guess Greenland would be a nice piece of territory to kind of continue that sort of barrier against Russia. Even though we are kind of in a sense friendly terms with Russia, we still want to protect ourselves from them, and to a lesser extent, or possibly to a bigger extent, China. All right, so fascinating stuff. All right, I was curious about that. I just didn't know the fascination. Now I know.
We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before.
Tapping into those resources. Oh yeah.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Which is true. Which is true. You needed a new this, new that, but what you really needed was a new president, and that's what we got. So some of the things that transpired throughout this is, here's an example, the Democrats' behavior, especially from Al Green here. This guy's a numbnut.
Joining us now over the phone, like he does every Wednesday morning, I have journalist Bill O'Reilly, host of No Spin News on BillO'Reilly.com. He is also the author of the best-selling book, Confronting the Presidents, No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden. Bill, top of the morning to you, sir.
I just want to say Peyton is a very articulate young woman, and it was really a shame, and I'm saying this with no partisan rancor, that the Democrats in that chamber last night did not acknowledge her at all, or any of the other guests that were brought in by Republicans, including the family of Lake and Riley. And that's the headline of the speech, Marky.
Yeah, and talk to me about that. Just your takeaway from the behavior from them last night, especially at a time when Democrats do so desperately need to rebrand their party, right? I mean, Were you, I don't know if shock's the word, but what did you take away from how they acted last night and the message that sends to people?
I never get shocked. I've been doing this too long. But the headline of Donald Trump's speech is not what Donald Trump said. Mm-hmm. If what he said comes true, then he'll be on Mount Rushmore. If he's going to do everything he promised, then he'll elevate himself into the greatest president zone. The headline was the dissenting party is so hateful and so
deranged,
offensive to non-ideological voters that it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I knew this guy, Al Green, who looks like something out of a horror movie. I knew he was going to do some stunt. That didn't hurt the
party. Stupid signs.
Because he's a clown.
The Democrat parties are a bunch of clowns. Look at that.
Leadership standing there or sitting there, not acknowledging anything that the opposing party has done as being worthy. Nothing. Then you have a party in disarray. And that's the headline of the speech last night.
And did you feel like Democrats' behavior last night was markedly different from behavior we've seen from Republicans on this same evening before, Bill? I mean, we've seen outbursts like this on this evening. Did you feel like last night was so different from Republicans in the past?
Well, I don't do that whataboutism.
The tit for
I leave
tat.
that to all the other pundits. That's not my milieu. All right, so you are correct. There are extremists in the Republican Party, and they embarrass the party routinely. That is absolute fact. But when you have an event like that last night, and you have civilians brought in who have experienced pain,
trauma,
like Peyton, whose lives were changed by insane policies that the Democratic Party embrace, and you don't acknowledge that, that's beyond any individual conduct.
You know, on the flip side, or I guess right after Trump's speech, you had Democratic Senator Alyssa Slotkin, who gave that Democratic response bill. She tried at times to strike a more bipartisan tone than what we saw from her colleagues throughout the speech. But, you know, her message juxtaposed with the behavior in the chamber, which one of these messages is going to resonate? I mean, they're very different.
Nobody heard the senator from Michigan because Trump was so long. I think the Trump speech is still going on, by the way. I just think he went to the head.
Yeah, what, hour 39?
He came back and started to continue. I like the senator from Michigan's tone. I don't know her very well, but she seems to be a patriot, number one, and not a fanatical partisan, number two. But nobody heard it. It's not going to resonate. You know, it's all about Trump. And the people who hate Trump are going to hate him more today than they did last night because he got it through the speech, and not with his words. He didn't damage the Democratic Party with his words. They damaged themselves. And any honest person will have to acknowledge that. So it's driving the hate Trumpers. He's driving them literally mad, Marky.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to
pretty funny stuff. Let's see here. Democrats are slammed and for their gross behavior. Weird and gross behavior. Democrat theatrics not helpful. Let's take a look at this here. Democrats slammed for weird and gross behavior. Let me show. I thought they were actually show some
What
footage.
happens if the dealership can't fix your car under warranty? If the dealership is unable...
Let's talk about now Trump's address to Congress. This really was something like I've never seen before. I've seen plenty of addresses to Congress, plenty of State of Union addresses, but this was just, 2 hours of pro-America shock and awe. The spirits were high. You can see we've got a standing ovation for everybody. Melania got a standing ovation. Donald Trump walked in high spirits. And he started his speech with this.
America is back. Six weeks ago,
look at all those Democrats,
I stood beneath
clowns,
the
man.
dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
American spirit, the confidence to dream, and the Democrats, I've got to say, were determined to disgrace themselves, Army. I'm interested in your take on this.
It does bring the American spirit back. I mean, because like the Democrats really just pull that out of you, right? And you don't even realize it, that it makes you so unpatriotic, and then to see it, to feel it, to go through this, to me, it makes you feel that patriotism once again, that's been missing for a long time.
There was a loud booing at the very start. They were hissing like alley cats. And listen to the interruption here and then the response from the rest of the folks there who started a USA chant.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Look at Al Green, you dumb fuck. Sit the fuck down. Get the fuck out of here.
In the end, Al Green, as we saw there on the screen, he had to be escorted out. I mean, it really was an unseemly little protest, obviously a planned little stunt. But how did you think the Democrats went there? Because they wouldn't even clap, they wouldn't even acknowledge all those emotional moments where there's victims of crime there who are being acknowledged, where there's heroes being acknowledged, where there's a little kid who's survived brain cancer and is being made an honorary member of the Secret Service. They couldn't even bring themselves to put a smile on their faces and clap for that.
Yeah, that is disgraceful.
Al Green being tossed out. Let's not stay together. Okay, sorry, different Al Green. That I will never sing again. I'm sorry, Rita. I'll never do that again. Look, it was so childlike and willful behavior by the Democrats. I've never seen anything like it. They brought Ross, right? Like a second-rate Carrot Top. I mean, it was so weird and gross. Look, in all the years I've been seeing, and by the way, look, he went through all the hits. I love teleprompter Trump, right? He went through all his greatest hits for the last 30 days, and that's why I guess this was the longest speech in the history of a president talking to joint Congress. But no, it was grotesque that they could not acknowledge anything, even things you would think seemingly they would agree on, right? He talked about how he's going against the Mexican cartels. Dead silence. You mentioned that 13-year-old kid who has got cancer. Silence. Look, and I've seen when Biden I paid attention when Biden spoke at his State of the Union. When he was introduced, you saw the Republicans stand up and clap because he's their president. The Democrats
you still gotta respect the president. You know what I'm saying? Even though you might not agree, you still gotta respect because he is our leader. He is, the president.
It was such a grotesque display of petulant behavior, and it really
it's disrespectful.
Spoke poorly of the party. It really did.
I would have broken party lines and just stand up anyway, just out of respect. I always respect rank and authority. No matter if I agree or disagree, if I don't like the person, I still respect it, because that's just the honor of doing that. So this is where they're talking about how there's this kid that survived brain cancer, and they honored him with a Secret Service badge. And it was a feel-good sort of moment, but yet Democrats were, you know, I guess unmoved by it. So let's take a look at this. So
today, data is power and insight is currency. Purdue's online master's degree in data.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer. But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Good stuff. So it says Trump
today,
says South
data
Korea
is power and insight is currency. Purdue's.
Yeah, so you know, stuff like that. Let's see what else. All right, let me get out of this. See what we got going on over here. What else we got? What else we got? Slam for gross behavior. All right, we know that now. These signs, they're whipping out signs and all that, but like a bunch of clowns. Look at these Democrat clowns.
But James, we don't do it in Australia for our big political speeches, but it's a real feature of US politics. This is using ordinary Americans in the gallery to amplify political points. This one in particular struck me today as really powerful. Have a listen.
Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn.
And look, he held up the executive order that he had just signed. He made the point, too, that the Venezuelan and Mexican gangs he has now listed as terror organisations on the same gravity level as Al-Qaeda. I mean, he did a number of these throughout that speech, James, but I thought they were particularly powerful.
Well, look, there were powerful moments. There was talking about Laken Riley, another victim of these illegal Venezuelan gang members. There was there was all sorts of other heartwarming moments. There was a young boy with cancer who'd suffered brain cancer who dreamed of being a cop, and they made him an honorary Secret Service member there on the floor. There was all these, you know, really intense, emotional, heartwarming, you know, heart-rending moments, you know, stuff to make you angry, stuff to make you, you know, go because it was just a lovely, touching moment. Trump was in absolutely full flight in this speech. But the crazy thing about this, Peter, is how the Democrats responded. And they were so churlish during the whole thing. One of them, Al Green, got kicked out for yelling and waving his cane. This was the visual that they had during the speech. Others held up these stupid signs, and then they all got memed all over the internet. And they sat on their hands and didn't even cheer when, you know, Trump announced the presence of, say, an American citizen who had been brought home from a Russian prison camp. They refused to even countenance applauding for that. It was so low rent of the Democrats. I don't know what the Democrats now stand for if they're going to sit on their hands for stuff that you know, I think any decent human being would say, yeah, that's great, that's wonderful. And it's just that party, Peter, is in such a mess right now, and Trump put them in their place tonight.
I think particularly when those ordinary Americans were shown by the president to have contributed or you know, as you say, been released from prison, or in the case of these mums, been advocates against criminals, the fact that the Democrats couldn't even stand for those ordinary Americans says everything. Thank you both. I look forward to your doco, as I said, Caroline.
Crazy stuff. Let's see here. 6 takeaways from it before we close up. All right, so I'll just cap it off with, you know, so we looked at all the lowlights of the Democrats in reaction to the things that Trump was talking about that was accomplished and everything that's been going on. So let's look at this last piece here. So Trump signaled a reset with Ukraine after his meeting with the president. He read off the letter. He mentioned that. Trump reiterated his support for tariffs. All right, so he's talking about reciprocal tariffs. We talked about that. He faced sustained opposition from Democrats throughout the night. We saw the Al Green thing, like a dumb fuck, waving his little cane. All these dumbass signs that they were holding up, like dummies, right? Trump stressed his support for Elon Musk's efforts to overhaul the government, which is good. He's we're streamlining, making it more efficient, and cutting wasteful spending. I love it, right? Trump spent little time discussing new policies. So, presidents often use addresses to joint session of Congress to lay out the agenda for the year ahead, but not Trump. He did not unveil new policies and devoted little time to the wars in Ukraine and Gaza, both of which Trump vowed to end. Probably because that's all it is. That's a period, right? He's going to end those things. He talked about Greenland, right? I think to Lester St. talked about the Panama Canal too, about taking it back. Trump also did not address another time-sensitive issue, how to prevent government from shutting down next week. So they still have a little bit of disagreements on the funding. Let's see here. The president reiterated that he wanted Congress to allocate more money for immigration enforcement, cutting taxes. We heard all the tax cutting he wants to do. Trump is still relitigating the 2024 presidential campaign. All right, so let's see here. He blamed Biden for a litany of problems: cost of eggs, crime and drugs on the border, and being weak to China, which is all true, right? All true. Biden was the problem. Let's see here. At times, Trump appeared to be giving one of his stump speeches from the campaign trail as he railed against Biden's immigration policies, transgender rights, and wokeness. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. Without specifying what it is, it's gone. It's gone, which is true. All right. She's trying to get rid of wokeness. All right. So that's enough of all that. I just wanted to talk about that and how rude and disrespectful the Dems were to the president. The dumb fuck right here, waving the little staff, man. Get the fuck out of here, right? What else is there? How they were just rude to the guests, right? Guests that were either, say, like the kid that was recovered from brain cancer, to the victims that have lost family members due to illegals with criminal records that are violent and, did what they did. And, we have victims because of that and lives lost because of that. So, that's just what we have there. And Democrats just wave the little signs, they little walk out, they try to just do whatever. It's all pity stuff, not pity stuff, petty stuff. And so it's just crap. And that's what Democrats are. They're just a bunch of dumb fucks. Look at that. Those little signs, all right? So, yeah, keep going down the road, rabbit hole of dumb shit like that. And that's why they're not where they are right now. Anyhow, I just wanted to go over this with you guys. Let me know what you think. Overall, I think, what I see here and everything, I think it was inspirational, you know, and he's gotten things done, and that's what we always like. We always like results, right? Everybody likes results, and that's what we are, results driven. So with that, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Subscribe. Like I said, I'm on Rumble, YouTube. Let me know what you think. And thank you for your support. I'll see you in the next one.